They're running low on time. I think Bren Esports are very confused as to why Black Feather was let through, what they've got to counter it. They're going to pick the Petal themselves. That is not what I was expecting. Why have Bren Esports gone for a Crystal Petal jungle? Or perhaps that's going to be Weapon Petal lane with CP Black for the jungle. I suppose this pick does give them an awful lot of flexibility to change their draft depending on the composition that J3X decide to run with.
Yep, Grace now would be an absolutely good pickup, if not then Lance, but they will go in and go through with that Catherine, maybe trying to find a stun onto Arden when he's trying to throw his gauntlet down. But the drafting coming through from both these teams at this point really is confusing. They can run the CP Black Feather and then the Weapon Petal in lane, and I see that happening rather than just swapping it around and having the CP Petal, because CP Petal right now is just not as strong. But of course, the Ozo pickup going up against the Black Feather and the Petal, I personally think J3X Inferno looks really strong coming into this draft, although they allowed the Black Feather through.
Yeah, I disagree. I think Bren Esports have got a better draft here. They've got a CP Black Feather against Ozo, who'll be fine in 1 versus 1. Ozo will not win that. And yes, Ozo means that they cannot play Crystal Petal because it's just too hard countered by Ozo. They'll happily just flex that Petal into lane as Weapon. Weapon Petal does fine against Vox. They've got Catherine to try and stun Ozo, but that doesn't generally work too well because it's complicated to try and stun Ozo out of his Acro Bounce. I just think that the fact they've let through Black Feather and Petal and they haven't really got a great counter to it, I think Bren Esports are going to be pretty happy in this game. They'll feel like they have the better draft. CP Black Feather is going to be really tough to deal with, and Ozo might be the way to do it, but they haven't got a healer to go with the Carney Luck Heroic perk.
Yep, and that's really the issue. Although, you have an Ozo, a relatively good check into that of Black Feather and even the CP Petal if the side of Bren Esports would run it. And even then, thinking about it, I must agree, the side of Bren Esports definitely look like they have got the better draft. But if the side of J3X Inferno just have been playing this comp through the entirety of 2.9.1 and just very comfortable, they might be able to pull something out. Although Bren Esports just looking very strong in terms of point standings, in terms of how they've played so far, and of course coming into this draft alone, just looking very robust. But I've got faith. I've got faith in J3X Inferno. I just want to see what they will pull up, because it is very unusual to just allow a Black Feather through unless you're super confident that you can just counter the Black Feather.
Well, you normally would let Black Feather through if you're able to pick Rhyme. With Rhyme being round away, the Aegis ban is something that I don't think Bren Esports would have picked, even if it was left open. And perhaps because you're on A side, because Black Feather is always picked on A side in almost all games, that means that you know whether he's going to go Weapon or Crystal. And in general, you know he's going to go Weapon or Crystal. But the reason that Bren Esports picked the Petal is because that means that they don't know whether he's going to go Weapon or Crystal. And the Ozo pick does force Bren Esports into a Weapon Petal. So I guess J3X now, they know what's going to happen as a high priority, because if it is a CP Petal with a Weapon Black Feather, J3X have probably just won the game straight up with this Ozo. Ozo is the main CP Petal counter in the game. So it can work out. I think Bren Esports have definitely got a better draft, and we're going to have to see how this Vox can scale up, whether he can try and run away from this CP Black Feather, or if we're going to see more poke coming out from Bren Esports. It'll be tough. Early game will definitely be in favour of J3X. Weapon Petal needs a lot of time to scale up. So does the CP Black Feather jungle. So that is a win condition for J3X, is snowball the early game with your Ozo. Ozo is very strong early on into the game. But we're going to wait and see what is going to happen. Can J3X take this early game, or will Bren Esports come through with the Black Feather Petal? We're loading into the house to unfold. Shurya, what are you thinking about this game?
Well, if you ask me, Mr. Jim on that Petal do need time to scale up, but he has been so very comfortable on this Petal. And in fact, if you were to ask me, Mr. Jim's power spike, or Petal's power spike in general, works in a very similar fashion to that of Vox, right? You have that of Baron. You have a very good early game, a decent early game. Once you get an item or two, you have got a very, you can just put out so much damage. And then there is a stagnated period of time before you get your next power spike. But then when that comes, you should already try to end out the game already. But for the side of Bren Esports, they are going through with that double jungler and then going for that Elder Treant. So, they are definitely rotating much faster. But although I see a very unfamiliar name coming through, but I may just have to hold that.
Yeah, Hated You is playing instead of J3X, but Vox able to pick up the first blood onto Hated You, and Vox does get rooted by the Elder Treant, but it's not that much of a problem. First blood for them. Mr. Jim now run away. Trampoline available in a couple of seconds. He's forced to use Healing Flask though. Is Oza going to dive tight? Yes, he will. Bim wants this. There's the 3-wing circus, and the third one didn't quite come through. The Healing Flask also forced by Bim because he would have possibly died to turret. And now Mr. Jim trying to farm this wave best he can. It is interesting that J3X is not playing. He's not captaining for Bren Esports. Perhaps he's not available. Perhaps Bren Esports have tried out Hated You and they prefer playing with him. We're going to have to wait and see how it's going to work out. Not a great start for the new captain being the first blood, but I'm sure they'll be able to come back from this. Early game is in favour of J3X Inferno, but not massively.
Well, not massively indeed. I mean, they are sitting on just about a 4K 300 gold lead at max, but I've been just very aggressive as jungler. More often than not, you know, when we do see J3X Inferno play, Bim is usually on that lane, and we've seen recently he has, you know, moved on into the lane. But before that, when he was actually seen in the challenges, Bim was just an insane jungler. He was just so aggressive. He knows how he should be playing. He knows where his spikes are, and he can find fights. As we saw earlier on, Bim picking up and assisting, allowing Baby to actually pick up that kill on Vox. Only reason being, it's just him being so aggressive in that lane. Even now, Bim completing the cycle, just roaming in that tri-brush and looking to go up onto lane.
Yeah, Bim just waiting out of that flare. Hated going to now face check the bush, but Bim isn't quite going to be there. 4 stacks already on the captain. Petal does clear the wave before Ozo is able to get any kind of damage. 1 treant taken by J3X Inferno, 1 treant taken by Sync1 on this Black Feather. So he did manage to solo that by himself. Now Ozo is just going to his backs. He doesn't care about the Elder. Sync1, the better rotation at this point, is going to out-gold Bim. He's already on 21 CS to Bim's 10. And so that's a really nice advantage that this CP Black Feather has got, because he's been able to secure a couple of Elder Treants by himself.
Yep, he has secured a couple of Elder Treant, but I don't think that plays a big part. I mean, it does in terms of your items in the early game, but after a bit, you can actually offset the difference with a couple of kills, with a couple of assists coming through from your team. But that is just down to how aggressive and how well Bim can play on this Ozo. However, the side of Bren Esports, usually you see them playing and being very aggressive in this early game, even when they're on Baron. And that is one of the signature heroes, right? When you see Bren Esports go on that Baron, he plays very aggressively. Mr. Jim at least plays very aggressively when paired up with J3X and Sync1. However, we are seeing a more passive game coming through. I guess today is the day of passives. Only 1 kill in the early game, but it's not much, nothing to say, nothing to talk about as to whether or not the game is passive. Bim really wants to complete that Aftershock, and of course Sync1 as well wants that Shatter Glass immediately, as soon as possible at least. But we saw, you know, CP Black Feather coming through, and a lot of times from other teams like Renegades, like Impunity, we see them building that Aftershock CP Black Feather.
Yeah, I think that we're going to see Shatter Glass. Obviously, he's working to it. We still see an Aftershock. We've seen some people go for the Heavy Prism, then rush an Aftershock. I doubt Sync1's going to do that, though. Yeah, Shatter Glass makes a lot of sense against this. Ozo, you don't want to be in basic attack range. You want to just be poking for as long as possible. You want to scale up into the later stages of the game. And I think this would be counted as an aggressive, a hyper-aggressive game even, compared to what we saw with the 10 minutes and 0 kills in the previous game. There's been some actual team fights so far, and a little bit of pressure being put onto Catherine in the lane. Mr. Jim has got his Soul Blade, so nice, decent pass back for him. But still working towards that first tornado trigger, which is when Weapon Battle really starts to come online. Sync1 can afford Shatterglass when he goes down to the shop.
Yep, he can, but a lot of pressure coming through from the side of J3X Inferno, just clearing wave as soon as possible. And Hated You, once again, very low, forced to pop that Storm Guard, and nothing much will be happening.
Except Ozo diving tie, that's quite a lot happening. Bim turret shot and go down quite low himself. Now Sync1 face checks the bush, but there is no one waiting for him. We're going to try and use that on point for a bit of poke, but just out of range, not even going to try. Ozo has now picked up an Aftershock. Really nice damage, power spike for him. 3-wing circus, all 3 procs of it can proc Aftershock if you time it correctly, so that is an awful lot of damage that this Ozo can be dealing. Fountain picked up by both captains. They're not going to use it yet. and it is going to be passive. Nothing in the end comes from that turret dive from J3X.
Well, yeah, I mean, Naibim dove a little too deep for Hated You, and although Hated You burned that Storm Guard very early on, even before the team fight actually started, just that Naibim just did not quite have enough damage to just, take down Hated You, but Hated You just taking so much damage in this lane. Mr. Jim really needs to come online very, very soon just to aid out Hated You, although it's quite weird, quite, peculiar to actually say, the carry aiding Hated You, but Hated You's positioning coming through in this game have been relatively questionable.
Yeah, he's taking a bit too much free poke by but in that exact situation, he was in lane and just didn't need to be that far aggressive. He wasn't stalling minions, he wasn't poking box, he wasn't getting stacks, just be a bit more defensive. Yes, you now frontline for your team. This is when you need to take the poke and you need to let your team members poke. But when you're just 1 versus 2 in lane, or your carry and a jungler up with you, no need to take that free poke. He's not stacking particularly well, just average on the Catherine. So yeah, try and take a bit less poke, and perhaps Bren Esports could take some more fights as Mr. Jim is working towards his major power spike of the first tornado trigger. And just a little bit of stacks going on to Kalura. Could be a bit of damage from Mr. Jim. He's now level 8, but he's overdriven his minions on Weapon Petal first. What do you think of that idea, Luxuria?
Well, I guess longer and better longevity of those minions, but I think it's... I don't know. You really want that trampoline to gain that extra range, gain that extra basic attack and damage at least. But it is not quite happening and coming through from the side of Bren Esports. But I guess maybe he has got something in mind. I'm not too sure. But that Catherine, although have been placed in putting herself in very haphazard situations, but have been stacking pretty well, I must say. 8 minutes in, 10 stacks, not the best I've seen. But hey, being aggressive has got its perk, and this is one of those.
Yeah, a little bit of poke on HG, but there's a lot of damage being put out by this Petal. There's the ultimate from Remember, he's been slowed by back for the Petal gets the kill onto Vox, and now Ozo trying to jump around. Sync 1 is doing what he can. Block onto the stun by Kalua, and there's going to be a bit of chase. Blackfeather going to do a lot of work. Ozo trying to jump around. HG's going to be a bit of a target, but he's got Stormguard, so he's going to be fine. Ozo trying to get Sync 1, and he's going to switch to HG, but there's nothing as a bait. There's the healing flask. Nothing that you can do about that. Bren Esports get 2 kills and a gold mine, most likely.
Yep, they will be able to secure this gold miner, and Mr. Jim's overdriving the A ability is definitely paying off, unless of course iBaby coming for that
that's
still.
An early wait for it, but he's going to try and steal the basic attack, and he does not get enough. Got it, but no, it was. There's the trampoline. If only she had more basic attack rate. Kill him, but no, the Vanguard and the Crucible come through to save baby. Mr. Jim almost doing the work, but not quite. He skills the goal prime, has the tornado trigger, so this is the power spike of Weapon Petal. Ozo jumping in, only gets 1 bounce though, doesn't manage to follow up on Mr. Jim, but he's going to go for it. Lovely reflex block, but he's going to go for it again. Diamond Mim is diving turrets. He's going to get the kill on Petal with that 1 jump, but he's going to die himself to this turret shot. Not quite sure if that's worth it. He gets the shutdown for himself, but he does fall. Now Sync 1 going to try and push this wave. How good is Sync 1 as a laner on the CP Blackfeather? He's going to try and poke out. Does land onto baby. There's the stun. Going to land onto the Arden at the end, and Captain's going to go very low. Those offensive use fountain baits by Bren Esports. HG is going to go very low. He blocks another bait from HG. It's as if he's going low just to bait J3X Inferno out. And in the end, Petal trades for Blackfeather, and that is it. Everyone's going to back off.
Yep, they will reset, and although the kill is going for the side of Bren Esports, the gold is as well. So maybe, maybe how Mr. Jim is playing this Petal just wants some extra tankiness, so the Petal does not quite go down as fast when, iBaby on that Vox is just using those resonance, those bounce attacks through those minions onto Petal. Maybe that is, one explanation you can give. If not,
is he overdriving his ult as well? Is he overdriving his ult? It looks like he is.
Or maybe Mr. Jim have been playing a little too many CP Petal and kind of forgot and just decide to roll with it. But however, I want to say that iBaby, or rather the side of J3X Inferno, they're not quite out of this yet. Yes, they are sitting at 21.3k gold as compared to Bren Esports sitting very comfortably 23.7. So about a 2k gold lead for the side of Bren Esports. But iBaby just cannot quite find those damage needed.
Here we go now, I'm going to go in. Last time is blocked. Crucible comes down, does not quite stun Mr. Jim, but he Blackfeather gonna get the kill onto Ozo, and now Baby is the next target. Loads defensive through, only gonna get damage onto Kalua. That is switch target focus onto the captain. Now Catherine can use that stun and the Crucible to keep Mr. Jim alive. He's going very low, but he's gonna be okay for now. Baby is back under turret, so a little bit of not as aggressive from Bren Esports. They will not secure the ace. They just get 2 kills for nothing, but no objectives except from a little bit of farm, unless Baby has something to say about this. He wants to steal the trim, but I think Blackfeather will get that. No! Rox baits. He cancels the basic attack animation. Brenny's Sync 1 gets baited and does use the on point a bit early. So nice plays from J3X Inferno. They don't lose anything except 1 scout trap from those 2 kills, from those 2 deaths.
And that is quite the issue right now that I'm seeing. If the side of the Bren Esports is unable to push every single time they pick up kills, then you allow Naibim to just scale up, build some defense items to go up against Mr. Jim and Sync 1. He will be a menace to just deal with because he can acro bounce, gain those fortified health, acro bounce, 3-ring circles to get those health back because of aftershock. And it will be quite difficult, you know.
As the ultimate not going to be blocked up by Petal. Naibim going very low. He's diving turrets. Blackfeather gets the kill. That's not the best place for Naibim, and now those Baby point doesn't quite land. Blackfeather going to go very low, but stun is from Catherine. Echo on the stun and the double kill for the Blackfeather. He goes back. He goes in with the faint of heart, and once again, Bren Esports get 2 kills. But will they get something finally out of this? J3X Inferno have still got their tier 1 turret, and Kalua. Oh no, Vanguard is going to try and keep himself alive. He uses boots as well. Boots were used by Bren Esports, and they, again, are not looking like they're going to get that much, but the unbeatable Blackfeather gets a very, very delayed triple kill. No ace, but it will finally be the tier 1 turret. So, nice plays from Bren Esports. In the end, they target focus very well. They first focus Ozo, then the Vox, then the Arden, and all three of them were low. Blackfeather's picked up a Spellfire. What is it with the Spellfire pickups today, Luxuria?
Well, I don't know. I mean, Spellfire may be good in 2.10, but in 2.9.1, I don't think they just drop the hot fix halfway through, you know, the tourney and then say, boom, Spellfire is good now. Use Spellfire instead of Dragon Eye. Use Spellfire instead of Broken Myth. But it kind of boggles my mind. I guess he wants to take damage, you know, the 100% over 4 seconds. Maybe he wants that. I'm not too sure myself. But Naibim really needs to start to build some sort of defense right now, although J3X Inferno.
Blast Hammer goes down. Echo on the Blast Hammer is going to be hitting, but that's just stacks for HTG. 5 stacks picked up, but now no Echo and no Blast Hammer for Catherine is available. 117 seconds left on that Echo. It's not going to be up until Kraken spawns. So J3X Inferno are in a really, really good position. There was no follow-up from the Blast Tremors, and J3X Inferno know that. They know that Catherine has not got her ultimate available. And Mr. Jim did overdrive his trampoline. I'm happy. He must have misclicked a point in his ultimate. In the end, Double 12, he gets it. Naibim, a little bit damage on the turret. Gauntlet comes in, but he's going to be stunned up by the Catherine. Who needs an ultimate when you can just stun the enemy out of theirs? Naibim jumping onto Blackfeather. That's going to be a block from the most defensive on that Bangarang. Naibim once again diving turret, and Petal gets the kill this time. Switching focus onto Baby. He's going to try 1 versus 1. Weapon Petal and a Catherine block on the play. Baby with the double kill. The plays. He blocks the Mercer's Pursuit. He trades the Petal in a 1 versus 1. He has breaking point, manages to do it, and now Baby is trying to get some farm. I don't think Sync 1 is going to catch him quite yet, but he's going to pick up an infusion. He wants to do it. Baby did a 1 versus 2. Can Sync 1 do it? Atlas does land. The on point does not quite connect, and now he's going to have to defensive, very defensively away over the wall to the minions. Kalua cannot win this 1 versus 2 because he's now under sentry. So Sync 1, turn around. You can do this. No question. Second most offensive. Faint apart does not secure the kill, and that's going to be Baby getting a very delayed triple and an ace. Free Kraken maybe, but not by J3X Inferno because they know that the members of Bren Esports are alive. And no, it wasn't an ace. It was 2 delayed, and so J3X Inferno now forced to back off. Baby playing really, really well on this Fox.
It's either Baby is just playing really well or Kalua was just a damn good of a bait. I mean, Kalua very, very low walked with Sync 1 into his jungle, just baited. Oh, into the sentry, yes, exactly. And then Baby just followed suit afterwards, picking up the kill for himself. Very easy kill going over to Baby on that Fox. And I must say, Bren Esports, you guys really need to watch your positioning. You know, watch your cooldowns as well, because it's quite apparent in that particular team fight. Hated You do not have that silence, do not have the blast tremor. Did a very good job trying to, or rather did a very good job stunning Arden out of the gauntlet, but Arden jumping onto your turret and then throwing the gauntlet down, I don't think it'll matter much anyways. And I guess the big difference right now is Mr. Jim just going for a 1v1 against Baby.
Last Shimmer is going to be blocked, and there's Echo going to go down onto 2, not going to silence up Baby, but it will silence up the Ozo. Stun does land on Mr. Jim, he's going to get bang, and in the gauntlet. Kite land on him, and he's loaded up to this Ozo. Ozo has fallen Baby. Now he's got 10 breaking points stacked. Can he do it? 1 versus 2 versus 3, sorry. And all 3 members of Bren Esports are very low. Ozo does that to a team. He puts them all over. The breaking point stacks have been lost. Petal building up some bonus stacks, and Catherine gets 1 stun. Echo not available, so there won't be a second. Atlas lands onto Vox. Blackfeather trying to dive in, and who's going to be the target from Vox? It's no one. No one goes down. Hated You will fall to the mud for blood, and Arden trying to 1 versus 3 this time. He can't do it. Bren Esports get the ace. The Spellfire worked out, but I don't think that was the reason they won. It's just this Weapon Petal working so much on Mr. Jim. One thing I want to point out for Spellfire is it does the same amount of damage over time as if you had an alternating current and you basic attacked every 1.4 seconds. And so that's just why it's not a very good item in this patch.
Well, it is not a very good item, but hey, it is working out for the side of Bren Esports. But I want to say, in that team fight, their target focus was definitely on point. Both of them just jumped on Vox, and even before they actually do a full jump, in that team fight, they disengaged for a little, waited for Vox's build, or rather stacks, to just drop. Went down to 2 stacks before they actually re-engage, and that is what that allowed Bren Esports to win the team fight.
Is he made another fight? There's going to be engaged on to Sync 1. He's going very low. Bang is blocked by the Verse Offensive. Now Catherine is the next target. She's going to back away, but Kraken, meanwhile, is banging on that turret. Mr. Jim inside the gauntlet is going to block his way out. Crucible also used by Hated You, but turret's gone, and J3X Inferno went, oh wait, we're defending a Kraken. We need to go back to that. So nice plays from Bren Esports. They don't die, they just bait, and they want 2 turrets from this Kraken push. They still may be able to get it. Petal has a very long range once she uses that trampoline, but she is out of position as soon as she uses it. So Mr. Jim going to get that tier 3 turret, sorry. But he's going to jump very aggressive onto Vox, who is Atlas, and there's the silence going to come through. No fighting can be used, but the silence ends before they get the Petal. Kraken's going to get the turret, but not quite going to be the game for Bren Esports. They don't win the team fight. Sigmund, you can't put a home there, mate. There's a Crystal Sentry, but he's going to back away. Not quite what Bren Esports would have wanted, but Kraken goes over to J3X Inferno, but 2 and a bit turrets for Bren Esports.
Yeah, so relatively, it's a very good trade for the side of Bren Esports. Now currently sitting at 41.3 over to 38.8k gold. What Bren Esports could have done much better was maybe just act as distraction, because it's quite obvious in that fight alone he was just distracting J3X Inferno away from that Kraken, away from Helga that's just pushing down the lane. So if they can just continuously do that, at this point Baby just allowed to stack up, and with Baby picking up the Tyrant's Monocle, he would just stack now much faster, and with that metal jacket as well on Baby, Mr. Jim would just do ridiculously low damage on him. Although Mr. Jim have got a bone saw as well, it would take some time before it actually just stacks up to 8 stacks and just reduce your defenses to nothingness. But at this point, I must say, maybe just working like a pure distraction. He has got his items right now, but I would prefer if Naibimi went for the Atlas Pauldron, Acro Bounce onto Mr. Jim, Atlas Mr. Jim, and then it would be an easier time for Kalua and Baby to just collapse onto Mr. Jim on that Weapon Petal. But he has not quite seen, but now Bren Esports going for the Crystal Sentry, although the entirety of J3X Inferno is just up top.
Yeah, first life has been taken away, so that's probably not going to get eliminated unless this game goes very late on. Bren Esports very aggressive in enemy jungle, stun onto Vox. Baby's going very low, and Mr. Jim's going to try and block out the gauntlet. Mr. Jim's not able to do anything, but Blackfeather's able to get the kill onto Vox, and now Synquan runs on Petal. That gauntlet's not expired yet, mate, but he's going to walk into it. Synquan may fall, but Petal's going to do damage. There's nothing that J3X Inferno can do. Bren Esports double kill, they're all alive, and they will just take the game.
Yep, they will be able to just clear the game, clear the 2 last remaining turrets, and pretty much go on to the Crystal as well. And the issue with that team fight just now is Mr. Jim was just left unchecked, was able to just poke across the wall, where Mr. Jim was very sure he could take the kill. He jumped trampoline over the wall, immediately removing Naibim Beam on that Ozo, and then refocus onto Kalua. Baby was just caught out of position. That of Sync 1, just very relentless, faint of heart, into and on point, just got Baby super low, and it was just easy cleanup.